Welcome to Nerdentials.
Your weekly dose
of the nerdy
essentials.
That was pretty
Go,
freaking
come on.
awesome.
Come on. You have to keep going.
Welcome to the Nerdentials podcast, starring your hosts, Joe Tweet, Matthew Johnson, Nick Thomas, and Lynn Dudgeon.
I was committed.
You guys,
Wait, no,
you
no,
guys
no.
got it down. You guys got it down.
Let's start that over.
Welcome to Nerdentials,
Your weekly dose.
Of the nerdy essentials.
covering comic books
Film.
Games.
and TV, and not in that order.
You said TV twice.
I said film. I didn't say TV.
I'm your host, Joe Tweeten, and accompanying me today in the Nerd Studio itself, I have with me the Matthew Johnson,
Hello.
the Lynn Dudgeon,
Hey.
and still coming out from a satellite near us, the Nick Thomas.
All by myself. Oh, sorry.
But still connected over social media.
Yeah.
What's social media? Oh.
Shh. Let the fantasy continue, Matthew.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, Nicholas, I'm sorry we couldn't arrange for a 4-man group up, but as it turns out, it's kind of a partial reunion of sorts.
4-man group. I thought you were going to say Blue Man group for a
no,
moment.
no.
I was just like, what?
No. So, dear listeners, if you're not watching the YouTube channel right now for your podcast enjoyments, stop rubbing the mic, Lynn.
You want to blame you first, Nick? You're not even here.
Nothing in particular different about this week, aside from the fact that 3 of us are in the same room for once. It's been a minute since we've done this. Secondly, again, like I said, for you listeners who aren't seeing this, go check out youtube.com/c/Nerdentials if you want to see the crazy shenanigans that happen week to week. But aside from that, Lynn is visiting from Nevada, and so he's actually here with me in the Northwest.
Lynn in the house.
Yes, in the house, and
The car goes wild.
it does.
And Matt.
No, well, and then also I'm gonna throw this out there. Like,
I mean,
Matt lives a little ways away, and it's not
I'm about 45 minutes away.
It's more convenient to just go via satellite every week when we do the weekly thing. So, once a month, we're going to try to get him in the studio and do some additional content with us, aside from just the podcast. But Lynn, 12 hours of driving, ended up here, so and he's camping out with us, so here he
I hope
is.
you're not stuck for longer, bud. My buddy was trying to head home, and I-5, they completely shut down.
Yeah, there was a bad wreck over there.
Yeah, down near Grants Pass.
He's here for at least one more day, so maybe it'll clear up by tomorrow. We'll see.
Well, if they do shut down and you need somewhere to crash, I'm here for you.
Oh, damn.
On a side note, he's currently crashing with us.
Well, I know. No, I mean when he's heading back, if he goes to start heading back, and then
on the way,
they stop
gotcha.
him at the pass there.
Do you come I-5 when you come up?
Mm-mm.
No, he goes Dalles
I go,
through Idaho.
I go 84.
Oh, yeah.
84
That
to
might be
Idaho.
a smarter
down,
way,
yeah.
actually.
So sorry, Nick. Yeah, he crosses over then down, rather than down then over.
Love it
Sounds
down.
like weird sex positions. Wait.
Well, now that we've caught our listeners up with a bunch of personal jargon, with the snow apocalypse in the Northwest, I don't know anyone else. If anyone else has experienced this, a few of our friends in the general Seattle, Oregon
That's
area.
a big freaking dragon. Sorry.
It's okay. My co-hosts here are playing some bullshit video games on the side as if recording wasn't more important. I don't know. I'm kidding.
If you saw that off in the distance, wouldn't you be like, WTF, mate?
I'm kidding. Yes, I see a dragon off in the distance. That is quite epic.
Considering it's almost as tall as that mountain behind
As a quick side note for our listeners, what are you playing right now?
Yeah, what
Lynn?
is this?
This is Neo Nankuni 2.
Nice. A recent
Whatever he
purchase
just said.
on his PS4.
Kazunte.
Yeah.
Wait, you brought the PS4 with you?
I did.
Yeah, he's got the PS4 with him.
Of course he did. He always brings it with him.
And he brought his Switch.
I did bring the Switch as well.
Did you bring it for Matt? Oh, did he know we're watching that right now?
Spoilers! Come on, we were supposed to wait until we actually hit play on it.
Yeah, we were
stuck.
All right, I'm
he's
going
like,
on.
he's right
Screw you
here.
guys.
He can't get out.
Dude, is that the ocarina?
Yeah, shh.
Oh.
It is. Yeah, Matthew hasn't been in the studio in a while, so he's just admiring a bunch of my shelf material. And that, dear listeners, is the sweet sounds of a model toy ocarina.
Wasn't that the Storm? First one?
As Lynn plays us the
Zelda's
sweet, sweet
lullaby.
tunes
Yeah, I
from
was gonna
Zelda.
say, yeah.
Okay.
He knows all of it.
No. I don't. I haven't played this game before. You're crazy. I got lucky. I got really, really lucky.
Strictly
pretty
guessing
good, though.
completely the whole time.
It's pretty sad that I knew that Storm one was...
Ebola, here's your song. Get right here.
Anyway, guys, to
Gaming bits.
to steer us back on track for this week's episode, it being a variety show, with the snowpocalypse and Lynn and his family visiting me, we just kind of pulled back a little bit on kind of trying to pound out our usual content. Quick plug, guys, if you want to check out other content that we have still been doing.
Sorry, continue.
Also said something about a couple inches.
Matthew has been playing through the Resident Evil 2 remake game, and currently
Yes.
there's about seven parts of his gameplay so far. A few hours of stuff there for you guys to check out.
And I feel like the best one is probably that one that's called the Boiler Room Massacre.
Yeah, there's a lot of people checking out part
It's a really
6
good
for
one.
some reason. I don't know why. Probably the title.
I can't even think of what that one is.
Something
Oh,
to
is
do
that
with the
big
title.
dude at the bottom?
It's with the dude with the eyeball in his
Yeah.
arm.
Dude,
That's
Anyway.
a fun one.
But aside from that, we're gonna do a combined topic episode today. We're gonna cover just a little bit of everything, review a few things that we've enjoyed over the last week or two. So, guys, without further ado, let's.
Maria.
I don't know what's going on here in the studio.
I have no jiggle. I lose.
Let's jump into Movie Matters for half a sec. Welcome to Movie Matters, nerds. The only thing... I had a couple things I wanted to bring up. I don't have, the links or quotes, but I just kind of wanted to get your guys' feelings on this. Exactly.
Sorry.
Okay. Actually, I don't have any specific news. Well, hold on.
The
Anybody seen
Aquaman is good.
Hold on. Anybody see anything this week or last
Yeah,
week?
let's throw the question out there real quick. Nicholas,
what's going on, Nick?
Nicholas, let's hear it.
you got some a movie or
He's
two?
excited.
A movie or two you'd like to
Valentine's Day?
tell us about?
Me and my wife finally watched Aquaman.
Nice.
Nice.
We loved it, and it is one of the better DC movies they've made so far. I put it on. It's tied with Wonder Woman for me.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Wonder
I
Woman,
think Wonder Woman
Aquaman
kinda
are their
edged it off
best
just a little
movies
bit.
so made. I can see why you would think that, but for me, this felt. Oh, what's the best way of putting it? This actually felt more complete.
I think it's because Matt is gender bias.
Yeah. Hey, it's
Just
Gal
because
Gadot.
the Irish guy in there doesn't mean anything.
Wait, hold up. What does that even mean? Ginger bias. So what is he biased towards?
He's talking about the red-headed guy in Wonder Woman. The Scottish dude.
Hey, but really, if we're
What
going
about Amber
redheads,
Heard? She's like as red as it gets.
Era?
I mean,
Not ginger, cause
that's
it's
not
red.
ginger.
But
On a
anyway.
side note, I said gender, not ginger.
Gender bias.
Did you say gender
I could have
bias?
sworn you said ginger bias.
I thought you said ginger bias too.
A little bit of numbers for you on Aquaman.
gingivitis.
Hold on.
Now he's saying I got bad teeth. Great.
Okay. Anyway, let's let Nick commentate. Go on, Nick.
I got some numbers and news to go along with it, though. Actually, Aquaman has broke over $1.12 billion. It is the highest-grossing DC comic movie worldwide, even above Dark Knight, which was the highest before then. But it's done so well, they already have
Aquaman 2.
2 movies coming on.
Yep.
They have Aquaman 2, and they're going to do a horror movie spinoff.
Called The Trench.
Yeah.
I don't have any details on this. And my thing is, and some people on the internet right now are obviously trolling and raging over the idea purely because the Trench is going to be a horror flick based on creatures in the trench. And so far what we have read and learned, it's going to have none of the stars from Aquaman. Absolutely no one is attached to this spin-off that I'm aware of, Nick. So my only thought is, how is it going to benefit the extended universe of the DC comics if
It's
it
actually
has
going to
no
benefit
one
very
connected
well.
to it?
It would make sense for it not to be connected. You can almost go to the creation of the trench and how they became the way they are. You could almost go the whole myth of them and how they reacted with people. Because if
And don't get me wrong, I'm not against the idea of a cool horror flick set in a weird fantasy setting. My question still remains, though, and what I think a lot of fans are also wondering is, what character are we going to even care about that's even remotely related to this? That's my question.
Swamp Thing. That's all that matters.
That's not even connected to this at all, though.
I mean, it could be.
It's not, though. I'm telling you, it's not going to be. It isn't. It's something that
You just
hold on.
shattered my
It's something
dreams.
that Jeff Johns came up with for the Aquaman universe, and it was a small side story related to Aquaman. If you take Aquaman out of it, it's like a Venom movie without Spider-Man. What's the point? Now, don't get me wrong. Venom should not have succeeded, but it still did. It made over $700 million box office. So I can't explain that.
the
Because
Venom movie was also great.
Nicholas, do you understand my point?
Yes.
Prior to going
there's
into Venom, there was absolutely zero indication that this was going to be a success until it came out.
Well, all I got to say is there's actually more Venom comic books that don't have Spider-Man than there are Spider-Man comic books with Venom.
That's great, but coming from an Origin fan or anyone that...
He's right.
I'm not dismissing that that there aren't Venom comics. I'm just saying Venom did not exist before Spider-Man introduced him.
Carnage than Venom.
What I'm trying to ask... Okay, let's veer away from Venom. This is a silly side tangent, because the movie the movie succeeded, regardless of your opinions, regardless of the trolls out there. What I'm trying to figure out and understand is what element of the trench is, aside from what is going to, what's by itself, it could be a great movie, but someone at Warner Brothers thinks they're going to connect it to the extended universe. I want to know what part of the extended universe is going to connect it.
It could be an origin story as far as like how the trench became the trench, because they all used to be actual mermaids or like mer people.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand, because I don't.
Because the trench, they went back to their beast mode essentially of like animal cruelty and animal like their animal instincts of just power and eating.
I'm sorry, but my favorite parts of the movie highlighted the fact that James Wan was directing it. The creepy parts of the movie that were intended to be creepy were so well done, and I got goosebumps. You see the light and just the swarm of the trench like freaking piranhas, dude. That gave me chills. It was freaking amazing.
You know what that reminded me of?
Huh?
And it kind of goes on with a sad thing here. I watched Saw in theaters when it first came out. And the part where the girl or the guy's taking pictures to see like what's going on because it's pitch black in his room. Anytime the picture went off, you had to like look around to see like what the heck was going to happen. That's what kind of that part with the trench felt like.
But he paid very good detail to the parts that were meant to be creepy,
yes.
And it paid off very well. And I think the reason why they're wanting to do a spin-off horror movie is people are so intrigued about what the hell are the trench and what can they do. Yeah, Aquaman batted them around like they were guppies, but
there's millions of them.
It's the sheer numbers that make them terrifying.
Okay, someone completely unfamiliar with the trench, so what is it or who are they? Like, what are they?
As the fall of the Atlantis, what ended up happening is the kingdoms broke into pieces, and some of them digressed and some of them evolved. One of them evolved into what we think of as merfolk people, and they're actually like very fish-like with very regal looks to them, but they have the merfolk tail. Mm-hmm. Then there's the Atlanteans, and another one that's very similar to the Atlanteans, but they have the red hair, like Mara and her father. Mm-hmm. Then you have the brine, which don't really swim, and they have multiple legs, and they're very crab-like and crustacean-like. And they kind of digress, but they're very warlike and primal. Now, the trench, on the other hand, went feral.
Yeah, they went completely
when
wrong.
You think of the creature from the Black Lagoon,
mm-hmm.
or you think of in Marvel comic books the Tritons. These are the trench. They are completely feral. They have like their face is almost like a anglerfish, the gigantic teeth that overlap and just big gigantic eyes, clawed arms and feet, just like big nasty claws, and protruding fins, like over exaggerated protruding fins. But it's not what they individually look at. Like, they are creepy, and they're almost like emaciated and scale-like, but they react like they're completely ravenous. But what makes them creepy is how well they work together. They have a whole swarm mentality when they're doing anything, and you see like swarms of them moving through the water. You're like on a day when it's about to storm, you see the birds in the air just kind of like all as one just move, and they like make these big intricate designs. They were doing that in the water with the trench.
Yes, like a big school of fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A very brief apology. I was just kind of digging into it as just playing devil's advocate, really, because like, and from pure curiosity, because I have no true background on that aspect of the Aquaman universe. So I was curious, and also this kind of you're helping enlighten our listeners to give them an idea of what this possible spin-off could be as well. So
No, and they did a very good part. And being a comic book fan and knowing the background on Aquaman, they stayed true to it, and it was refreshing that DC stayed true to something.
well, they're learning a lot lately, and realizing how their properties can be successful by giving the creative control over to the creatives, aka the directors, because James Wan walked away initially when he was first offered the option to do Aquaman. He walked away because they wanted too much control. And then Warner Brothers was desperate to, keep making these films and get money out of them. And they realized, okay, we're probably going to benefit by handing over some creative control here. And that's what it came down to as far as this Aquaman film. James Wan said, I'm not coming back to direct for you unless you give me complete control over it.
Yeah.
And they gave it to him.
And he knocked it out of the park.
And it made them $1 billion.
And you can tell that they gave it to him because the I can't even think of the word that I can't even pronounce it right now. The delicate nature of this film.
Intricacies.
There you go. That word right there. I'm not going to try to say it because I'll butcher it again. But he has a way with describing things on paper and putting it into what he sees in front of him very nicely.
Very nice.
Like I said, with Saw was a great freaking movie. The first one.
I just got to say that I'm trying to be not like spoil it for people, but every single part of this movie felt complete to me. The characters, I did not see a character I did not like in their role. They all did very well. Yeah.
Matthew?
I think they could have done more with Black Manta, though. Like,
they're going to.
Well, I mean, I know that there's going to be more of
down
him,
the line, yeah.
But as far as, like, why he became the way he is, kind of a thing, they didn't even, like, express that fully, I didn't think. I know his dad died or whatever, but how did that, like, progress, kind of a thing? Like, it was just...
You wish they had elaborated further with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did a good job of playing his character the way they did.
They did.
And with who they chose. There's a few characters that surprised me. Like, I didn't expect the Lundgren in there.
Right.
But every character played their part very well, and it was complete to me. I liked it. And Mr. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Jason Momoa. He was Aquaman.
He did good.
There will be no other Aquaman after him.
That's good to know.
No,
like
he played his part crazy well. And this wasn't... If you go into this thinking this is just going to be a superhero movie, you'd be dead wrong. Because it wasn't a superhero movie to me. This was like a culmination of a superhero movie with Indiana Jones meets Raiders, Tomb Raider. It was an adventure.
Was that my phone?
Nice.
Not it.
It almost had the feels of National Treasure.
Yeah. What did you feel?
It was, and Gladiator. Can't throw.
What did you feel about with the original green and gold?
I feel they couldn't have done it any other way.
When I saw that, I almost freaking teared up.
My wife looked at me like, really? Green and gold? I'm like, yes. And then I left it at that. And she's like, what? Okay. But no. And they covered so many things, which was awesome, and they embraced the Jules Verne of his lore. Matt knows what I mean without
know
me.
Exactly what you're talking about.
And I'm like, yes.
Hey,
Are you?
what?
Were you gonna ask about the Jules Verne thing that he was talking about?
Nope, not even a little.
Okay.
I figured it would
Never
be
mind.
it'd be a good. I mean, do you want me to? Like,
No.
Do you need
No. It's good.
I'll leave it up in the air. I just
check
wanted
it out.
I wanted to shift over to another topic before, so we keep our show moving. Second up, okay, real quick, guys. As a side note, remind me to bring up James Gunn.
Okay.
Before I do, though, was there any other film you wanted to mention? Nick, you sounded like you had more than one. Lynn's got nothing right now. No.
Whole lot of travel. Nothing.
Not a film, but kind of film news.
Okay, what category are we dropping into? Just so I kind of give me a heads up before we leap into it.
I'd say you were talking about James Gunn, and it kind of reminded me there's some things coming up that we're kind of excited about in film news, movie news.
Okay, well, let's just jump right into that portion, and with the first topic being, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. So we learned a few weeks back that Warner Brothers, after the unfortunate Disney Marvel termination of James Gunn off of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, we've talked about it in the past. We've already kind of given our thoughts and feelings on how he was fired over stuff that was, a decade old, stuff he's already apologized for. And we can't forget that the production company he worked for was putting out disturbing, like, horror flicks and creepy thrillers and stuff, and he was a big part of that at the time. And so he was very much personifying a certain image on his social media. Right. A lot of the jokes he made with the intent of getting a reaction. And let's not also, as a quick reminder, not forget that Disney hired him with this being a public knowledge of where he came from before. And 5 years before producing the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, he had publicly apologized for these previous things. Granted, he should have probably deleted those old tweets, and unfortunately they resurfaced, yada yada yada. Anyway, all that controversy having come and gone for Mr. James Gunn, Warner Brothers had announced a few weeks back that he was creating a screenplay treatment for a revitalized version, not a direct sequel, but a new take on a Suicide Squad film. So for the purposes of code naming and understanding, we'll call it Suicide Squad 2, but this is absolutely not a sequel. So he was writing a screenplay treatment. We are almost certain, after the stuff I've looked into, that Warner Brothers was already talking to him about directing it as well, but I feel like we saw this coming publicly. This was seen as coming, but I definitely feel like Warner Brothers held back on announcing said confirmation until they got a feel for how the public was going to receive this. But from what I've heard from a couple sources is literally from the day he got fired from Marvel Studios, Warner Brothers immediately was courting James Gunn for working on a project. I'll give you guys the links in our show notes later on, but they offered him any property he wanted. Literally, I didn't know this until last week. But they said when talking to James Gunn about writing and or directing a property for Warner Brothers, they offered him everything, including Superman. They offered him the opportunity to do a Superman film, And James Gunn took his time and looked over the properties, and James Gunn purposely chose Suicide Squad over any other property. Mainly because that fits his wheelhouse, his style, he likes writing stories about misfit characters coming together, vigilantes and that kind of thing. He straight up made a comment about how he loves appreciated the opportunity to do a Superman flick, but it's not his flavor as a film director. So he handpicked doing a Suicide Squad film. Now, Warner Brothers just announced about a week or two ago, by the time you guys hear this episode, Warner Brothers finally announced, after the reception of telling the public, hey, he's writing a movie for us, no one complained about it. Absolutely no backlash. 3 different directors from Marvel Studios, including Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok. 2 other film directors, I'm drawing blanks right now, but from Marvel Studios, all gave social media shout-outs to James Gunn, saying they completely support any current project he's working on, right? Like, there's still... Taika Waititi is still freaking working for Marvel Studios, but he's publicly saying, I full-blown support James Gunn. And let's not forget, Bautista, pro wrestler who plays Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy, he was the number one, I'm going to leave Marvel and stick with my buddy James Gunn from the very beginning of this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And he even made a comment over social media, hey, you doing Suicide Squad 2? Get me a role on Suicide Squad 2. I really hope to God that actually happens at some point. It'd be awesome to see that.
Badass Killer Croc.
Exactly. But so in conclusion, my last statement, and then I'll ask you guys what you think about this. Warner Brothers has confirmed. They said, okay, no one's complaining about him writing a script for us. Let's make the announcement. Guess what? James Gunn is directing a movie for us. I am beyond thrilled, and I've always been supportive of the fact that I think Disney wrongfully terminated James Gunn from Marvel Studios. Are you guys excited and hopeful for him tackling a Warner Brothers property?
James Gunn, you do you, boo. That's all I gotta say. Like, he's a creative genius, I think, especially with what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy.
And how about our excited anticipation for the anti-hero movie horror flick Brightburn?
Right, Brightburn.
I'm excited to see that.
Brightburn looks good.
I could honestly say though, when if they make the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I won't watch it. I'm not going to support Marvel's decision to get rid of James Gunn over something they knew about to cover their own asses.
Right.
Well,
so I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people in the community that aren't going to watch it because they know James Gunn got the blunt end of it just to appease people.
And let me add to your point, Nick. The other thing that kind of sours that whole idea is they've confirmed that they are still going to use the screenplay that James Gunn wrote for the 3rd volume.
That's so tacky.
But it's going to be directed by someone, obviously.
I say this as one of the nerds. We support you, James Gunn.
I'm down with that.
Lynn, any personal thoughts you want to chime in on before we move on?
Okay, mine might run a little bit longer than everybody else's.
Oh, dude, we're waiting to hear you. Go for it.
Mine is kind of a rant. And I gotta say, if we want to start dredging up everybody's history from the past, I'm sure everyone has a skeleton or two in their closet. I could almost guarantee it. No one is perfect. You were made human. Everyone has a skeleton or two in their closet. Okay? Now, history, like these tweets from the past, were made to be learned from. You go back and revisit them to learn from your mistakes. Not saying that you constantly repeat them, but that you've learned from them so that you don't repeat them. And if you've made amends for these mistakes, why do they keep getting drug over your back like hot coals?
Here.
Right?
It
Happens too often.
It's not just the film industry. It's
it's everywhere.
Everywhere. Why?
Well-
What? It's history. It's history for a reason. You revisit it to learn from it,
It's because nobody's got a backbone anymore.
and
Well,
you
and
leave
you
it
look
be.
in the film. You say it's not in the film industry, but I mean, not just in the film industry.
No,
but it's in the forefront because it's in the film industry.
well, that
People hear
Well,
it.
that and it's in politics too.
Politics, even in music too,
It's-
especially right now.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's another one going on that kind of just baffles me why people are freaking out about this. Liam Neeson.
That makes no sense. Yeah,
Bring it up, because I'm not in the loop on this, and maybe our
Okay.
listeners aren't
Well,
either.
It's pretty
Liam
rough.
Neeson was in a interview, and someone asked him, how does he dig so deep to find the character that's full of so much anger and make his character so compelling and believing? And he went into this long, drawn-out story that
Openly
was
honest.
heart-wrenching.
Openly
And he
honest
was being as
too.
honest as possible. And he said, as he said it, he's like, I felt horrible about feeling this way, but this is how I felt. One of his friends got raped.
Mm-hmm.
So he asked his friend, who was it? What'd they look like? So the woman described a black male. So he quite literally said that he went out for the next week or so, and he felt horrible about it afterwards, that he was actively looking for a black man to come at him so that he can attack him and kill him in revenge for his friend. He said he never acted on it, but
And
it was a moment of anger.
yeah, it was
it was
at a certain
moment
bar
of-
that it happened,
Yeah,
and he paced outside the front waiting for a person.
but here's the thing. He would have probably been doing the same thing if she said it was a person with a mohawk.
Right.
It was a white guy with the shaved head.
Mm-hmm.
He would have said, I would have been looking out for this people. It wasn't the color of the people, but that's all people see.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see that he was lashing out in anger. They don't see that he was hurt for his friend. They don't see that he was human.
Yeah.
And people just try to pick apart what they want to get what they want. And it's disgusting.
It's selective hearing.
Sorry, I also ranted.
No worries, man.
No, not really. I mean,
It's-
you made a confined point, and it sucks. It's human nature to attack the easiest thing to feel better
It's-
about
it's-
yourself.
Human nature path of least resistance.
Yeah.
If we're all going to get nitpicked for everything that we do that we did in the past, I've done some pretty horrible things in the past.
Well, that or there should be a handbook, like a precursor to like an
Epilogue?
no,
Prologue.
a prologue that says, "Hey, you're going to get judged for all of your actions upon birth. Do not mess up."
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's no way. I mean, I've messed up plenty in my life.
You can't come here and talk to us or anyone in the world and claim that you haven't made a mistake in your life. You're not a human being if you haven't. I think that's anyway. We're getting a little super deep here on this podcast, guys, but I think that's the main point.
In this instance, it's honesty.
warranted, though.
And it's what.
Oh
it's
no, I know,
honest.
and I'm not against going down these paths of conversation at all.
It sucks.
You know what I mean?
It sucks that people want to look for something to dislike someone over from so far back, or just in general.
Right.
Like, you brushed your teeth wrong yesterday morning. You forgot to spit and rinse. You rinsed first, but you didn't spit. What's wrong with you? I mean, that being a fickle analogy, but
Yeah.
if I had grudges towards people that did some wrong to me back in the day, I wouldn't be the
You'd be living
teddy bear
you'd
right
be-
now that I am right now.
You'd be
Right.
living a miserable life.
I think
Yeah.
people need to go back to the ideology of life is too short to be angry. There's no reason to spend your life angry or looking for something to be angry about. You need to go just live life, enjoy life. You only get one. What's the point of wasting it being angry?
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to have a horrible, horrible anger problem. And if I still had that, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair right now with you guys.
Talking about other fun topics as we'll get to soon in this episode.
Yeah.
So, okay, any
I don't know if I have seen
any other concluding thoughts about James Gunn? Like, okay, how about the hopeful side of this?
No, I am very excited with what he has created in the past. This is without a doubt going to be something that I will definitely see. I mean,
right? It could be
I could guarantee that my two oldest will love it. They loved all of his other movies.
Yeah.
So why? I mean, without a doubt, I will enjoy it.
Absolutely. So I just said the James Gunn news was something I was excited about. Warner Brothers announcing, hey, boom, he's writing and directing this new take.
Hopefully it takes them out of the rut that they were in with the movies prior to, like, Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm not.
Are you talking about the?
I'm not saying that those are the two saving graces for it, but I'm saying with the poor reception or the poor quality of the other movies that detested from their value, I'm saying maybe this will be the guiding light that shows them what direction they need to head towards.
Well, and we're kind of seeing this across several films that are like literally on the verge of coming out. Because Patty Jenkins is definitely going to deliver on Wonder Woman 2. Warner Brothers pushed it out to next summer because it's going to do better. Because that's it's a better time slot.
The first one, it's what will work for the second one.
And we've got a lot to look forward to with Shazam. In all honesty, Zachary Levi is really selling this role, and it just being a lighthearted take on a superhero film. Anyway, there's other things, and we'll dive in another episode about some of these other projects coming out soon. But there's a lot of exciting things coming around the bend in light of the Aquaman success.
Just around the bend.
And with the James Gunn news, reinvigorating a failed previous film and giving new light into this new take.
I don't know if I would say failed.
I enjoyed the film. There's a lot of people
better. In some people's opinions, significantly better.
As far as Rotten Tomatoes goes,
it'll do blockbuster.
Fan wise though, it did better.
Poor Rotten Tomatoes scores is what makes cult classics.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even gonna lie.
You know what? Someone made a comment on another podcast, and I apologize. I can't give the appropriate credit to this, but someone said something they'd love to see is don't change anything about Suicide Squad, the first film. Don't change anything. Only thing that they would love to see is James Gunn pick the songs. Just replace all the previous tracks and have James Gunn pick the songs.
Yeah.
And that alone would dramatically change the tone of the movie.
Fair enough. I could see him keeping one song though.
I'm sure. Yeah, which one?
That probably the one where they introduce.
What was it? I know which one you're thinking of. I can't think of the name.
Go for it.
No, I can't think of the name.
No.
Yeah.
What scene though? The one that I was talking about was the stylized version of "You Don't Own Me."
Yeah, I love that. I personally love that song.
It was very fitting, and it worked very perfectly for her character. And when they were
Harley Quinn is bae. What?
Right,
Margot Robbie is bae.
We could spend an entire episode fanboying on Harley Quinn, not
I keep
Margot Robbie, but Harley Quinn. In
No,
general.
I think Margot Robbie did a good job with Harley Quinn.
I keep
personally.
well, and they're keeping her on for Birds of Prey and the immaculate emancipation of one Harley Quinn. That's the actual title. Can you believe that?
Actually,
When I buy my ticket, I'm just gonna say one for Birds of Prey, please. I'm sorry, which movie? No, I'm not gonna say the whole title.
there's actually some IGN. I caught on IGN. They're not making the Jason Leto Joker movie anymore, or Harley Quinn solo movie.
Yeah, those are on the proverbial back burner.
Yes, way back there.
Just to conclude our movie section, because I don't think we have any more reviews, right, Nick? Or did you have anything else?
I have some news, actually.
Okay.
Something I'm excited about.
Okay. Let's jump into that. Let's.
We have some news from the newsroom on Nicholas's end. Let's hear it, Nicholas. Over to you.
All right. Can you guys think about one of the most acclaimed and probably most influential science fiction movie of the 80s?
Of the 80s.
Of the 80s?
Tron?
Nope.
That was actually the 70s.
1984 to be exact.
Hold on, I think I've got this one. Where's my phone? It is downstairs.
Let's not.
Okay, hold on.
Let's not.
Riddle me this, Batman. Does Sean Connery play in this movie?
No.
Oh, darn it. It's not the one I'm thinking
But
of.
the spice is life.
Oh my
Spice is
god.
life.
Dune?
No.
This is Dune news. He's talking about Dune. I know where you're going with this. And I think a certain Jason Momoa is about to be brought up.
Yes.
I just heard this news recently.
I actually have the updated cast.
Just listen. This is going to be an epic casting. Thank you, Nick, for bringing this news up.
Denis Villeneuve is going to be directing this version of Dune.
If I don't hear Kevin Bacon, I will be upset.
That's Tremors, and you're not going to hear from him.
He will be known because of he did Sicario and Arrival. Those are the movies he's directed. But he's actually got a pretty crazy cast coming for this movie, and I think it's going to be epic. So I got at the top. We got Timothy Chalamet. He was from Beautiful Boy, and he actually walked away with a Golden Globe for that. He's going to be playing the main character of Paul Atreides. Followed up with
Calm down, Matthew.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Okay, hold on. Before we go any further, did anybody ever watch the actual first version of this movie?
Yes.
Not really the movie, because it wasn't a movie. It was a short series made into a movie.
You talking about the one that had Patrick Stewart in
5 hours long?
Yeah, I own it.
It was dumb.
The
book was great.
No, the movie was fantastic.
The movie was...
Are you talking about the 4.5 hour movie from 2000 with
not
William
2000.
Hurt?
No.
No, that is actually the one you're talking about is Frank Herbert's Dune. That one was
back in
1984. 2 hours and 17 minutes. It's shorter than a Star Wars flick, bro.
It was great.
No.
This particular movie.
Well, that version of it was 2 hours and 17 minutes. They had
directed by David Lynch.
Extended. Anyways, continue on with the cast. Yeah. I'm not going to see this.
Why?
Wait, Nick. He's got to wait till that perfect trailer comes out. You know, just like that Godzilla trailer. Just give us the cast. Give us the news.
Rebecca Ferguson, who people know her as Ilsa Faust from Mission Impossible.
Heck yeah.
It has Dave Bautista.
Bautista
will be playing in this. We have Stellan Skarsgård. We have a lot of freaking Marvel characters and DC characters playing in this movie.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin, Oscar Isaacs,
Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Holy.
Zendaya.
Stellan Skarsgård.
He said that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All big actors, and I'm excited for what he's going to be able to do with it.
Well, the first one had a lot of big actors in it too.
No, at the time though, they weren't big actors.
Yeah, they were.
maybe 2 of them.
Well, yeah, okay. The main character was definitely a big.
That was
what's
actually
his
his
name?
breakout role.
That wasn't his breakout role.
Yes,
He was
it
in
was.
some. Maybe.
You realize who that was, right? You've seen How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
He was the murder eyes, smile face dude.
This guy.
Anywho,
Well,
yeah, so anyway, well, Matthew will just wait till a fantastic trailer comes out that makes him nerdgasm over the whole thing. Much like the Godzilla with Millie Bobby Brown and Vera Farmiga,
It's gonna be good.
the Monster
no.
King.
The only thing that made me actually want to watch Godzilla was the fact that Mothra was in.
I was going
That
to say
was- that was-
Mothra.
that
I
was the
know.
only
I know.
reason.
I know.
And I gotta
So
touch
it's
on
not
the-
going to be
Yes.
actors. It's going to be the slug on the screen. You're gonna be
Exactly.
like, oh my god.
It's not going to be anybody.
I also gotta kind of bring up the fact that I'm kind of excited for Star Wars Episode 9. They announced that filming is done on it,
Yes, they did. Thank
Ahead
you for
of
bringing
time?
that up.
and it's at J.J. Abrams is back at the helm on it.
And it might be released before December.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Probably not.
I know, but
They want to sell tickets. They'll probably put it around that nice little holiday weekend. But
well, no, they would just bump it up like a month. But they'll probably still be around Christmas.
it'll be after Thanksgiving at the earliest. Is my guess or estimation or prediction. Prediction.
Either way,
In
I
around the
would
same
watch
time,
that.
we're gonna get Frozen 2. We were not done with what's that stupid song?
Olaf. Oh, let it go.
Please,
No, they're
please.
no.
Let it go.
No.
Let it go.
Guys, in the teaser trailer, there was not a single song to be sung.
No.
It was
However-
atmospheric dread.
He's flipping us off because he still hasn't seen episode.
Lynn is flipping
8
us off.
or
Lynn,
7.
we said we were going to be vague about episode 8, and so far we haven't said anything about it. Thank you for the thumbs up. We weren't even going to dive into Star Wars news.
Was it episode 8 that I ruined for him, or episode 7?
8.
8? Was
The
it 8?
Last
I'm
Jedi.
sorry.
Oh yeah, you know when you were trying to make us think that you hated it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I love you, Nick.
That's that whole Discord conversation.
I just
Speaking
know
of
that
Discord,
if you ever,
if you wanna
just
join
know
us
that if we're
on that-
ever hanging out and you fall asleep drunk around me, you're gonna wake up shaved bald.
Don't got that much farther to go.
Well, guys, that is we're kind of getting to that point where we wrap this whole episode up. This has been Movie Matters for the week. We had mostly news topics to hit this time around, so welcome back to the Nerdentials news roundup, so to speak. Guys, we took a week off because of inclement weather. That sounds stupid, but we also needed some family time, so we took a week off. But we're back in the saddle. We'll bring more content in the coming weeks. That being said, guys, you can follow all of us on our social medias. Guys, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And for classic old time's sake, guys, on those old Twitters, I'm going to throw this out there. You can follow me at Mr. Bluestreak. Let's see if I get this, guys. Let's see if I get this. You can follow Nick at ThanatosDB87. You can follow Matthew at MattmanOrigins. And you can follow Lynn at Pay to Have Fun. If any of you care or want to DM us over Twitter. But aside from social media, guys, you can check out all our content across YouTube, the iTunes podcast platform, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Guys, don't forget to rate and review us. Rating our podcast helps us be seen by more people. That all being said, the final source where all of this is collectively found is nerdentialsmedia.com. Thank you, my chorus of angels. Sorry, Nick, you're not here for the perfect timing, but Nick and Lynn delivered a nice little chorusy sound.
You just called me Nick. Mother trucker.
Matthew and Lynn, sorry.
Don't worry, you've been called worse.
I don't know about that. Oh.
Well, anyway.
Something a little less
Let's not mince
shitty.
words. Let's not mince words.
Jump on it. Oh, sorry.
Guys, thank you for joining us. Come back next week for more amazing nerd conversations. For me, Nick, Lynn, and Matthew, this has been your Nerdy Essentials. And as always, nerds, we'll see you on the other side.
From the left side.
From the underside.
Or down the middle.
Wait.
The tape down under.
Whoa, 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 whoa.